There's Chans Ruby-Eyed Leech. I think this thing's going to be a real slayer. Starting out with a 2-2 Daiichi. Medium-sized gold tungsten cone. This is the MFC Lucent Tungsten in a 5/32. Drop of thick hard in order to cure this bead and glue it to the hook. I'm going to capture that glue in the cone. Push the bead up on it. I'm going to rotate the glue around so it'll kind of spread a little bit evenly. You can see it kind of moving around. And we're going to get it pushed right up where we want it and hit it with the shot of UV there. I'm going to tie in some A-Dot Semperfly in Nano Silk Black. Trim our excess. We're going to tie in a very small piece of black marabou. Just get it started and loop around over it and under it a few times. Tie in a single strand of crystal flash in red for the tail. Just kind of get it on the shank here with a few wraps, and then we'll make sure and fold it over so we have one strand on each side and kind of fold it back and wrap it on. Kind of looks like that. And we'll trim it just slightly longer than the tail. We're going to whip finish in place right here, and then we're going to tie in a dubbing loop here in just a second with some red wire. Got my Semperfly in 4th thou red wire. Start out by tying that wire around the shank and just getting it nice and secure. And then we'll fold that little piece over and wrap back towards the tail here. And then at that point we'll take this little piece of wire and I'm going to pull 2 fingers wide and approximately 3 inches. Kind of wrap that on there and get it started. And I'm going to take my thread and wrap it over that piece. And we'll wrap it around both sides of that dubbing loop. And then we'll cut it free. We'll cut this piece free that's still hooked to the spool here. Now that we have our dubbing loop, I'm going to put some of this Arizona dubbing in. It's in black and red. By the way, if you do the dubbing loop in black, which is the lower fly, versus red, there's a lot more red that gets reflected through the fly, so I think it's worth it to do it out of the red wire. Okay, we've got about this much dubbing. We're just going to put it in. We've got quite a bit of extra, so we're just going to kind of try to flex it up and down a little bit in that cavity. And then we've got this Umpqua little dubbing loop spinner hook weighted thingy. So we're just going to put it in there. You can kind of see it's dangling, and we'll start spinning it a little bit. Now the wire will snap if you do too many twists. I don't know what the number is where it's too many twists. I just know that it snaps. And if you snap it off, it's okay. Because if you've twisted it, then it's a thick wire full of chenille and you can tie it back in and wrap it into the fly and everything's fine. So I think I've got like literally twice as much as I would normally have. I'm going to pause this while I pick some of this out. Okay, so we're going to spin this up just a little bit more. You'll see it'll kind of catch up to the top here slowly. And what that kind of looks like is this. Still a little thick, But we can pick some of that out as we go, as we wrap. Okay, I've got my thread out of the way, and I'm just going to slowly start to wrap this in. Kind of come and hit back around that tail. Make sure I'm hopping over everything as we're coming through. And we'll just slowly start to build that body and keep pulling the hair back as we go. Don't want them to be super thick, but if it gets a little thick, you can always pick some back out of it. So there's kind of a fine line between it. I want just a little bit more, I think, right in there. And then once you kind of get it how you want it, I think I'd like a little bit more in there. You can always kind of cheat the system and add some more in up in this area too. If you're going to do another wrap or two. And that's probably about it. Then we'll take this and I'm going to wrap my thread around it a couple of times and I'm going to cut it free. Okay, so I've been around here, and then I've come around it on that side as well. Done that a few times. You can see the wire actually just broke right there, so I don't even need to helicopter it. And then we'll go ahead and whip finish it. Pretty strong little thread. You can push and pull on it quite a bit. And there's a little bit of piece of the wire left right there. The rest of that loop, so we'll just finish that off. And then we'll just need to brush that. And that's Chans Ruby. Give this a little brush out here and just finish it up. And let's see what we've got on both sides here. That's going to be a nice little leech and really should bring in the trout.